F40 builders, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about turbos and superchargers. Let's get into it. There's a Barrett engine. Now, what you'll see here is a turbo. As you can see, the turbo has a hot side and a cold side. So there's a hot side. All the exhaust from the engine comes out the exhaust pipes. Obviously it's a straight 6, so there's 6 pipes. They all feed into this center plenum and feed into this turbine, and then once they've fed into the turbine they'll come out the center, and that is where the exhaust goes out, straight down out of the vehicle. So it all collects. You can see how wide this is across this way on a barrow. It's quite wide. Like when you look at it this way, it looks quite thin, like a 3-inch pipe, but it's actually very, very big dump pipe. I don't know what the diameter is, but that's quite big. Might be even 4.5, 5 inches. Pretty decent. That's how the turbo spools, and obviously the more exhaust you've got coming out, the higher the RPM and the more flow, the faster that spins, and the more potential boost you can generate. We've got some fittings and stuff here, we'll talk about that later. We get boost to feed to the engine. So there's a shaft that joins the exhaust side to the cool side. We call it the cool side. It still gets pretty hot. However, it's colder than the exhaust side, and it's managing cold air. That makes this spin. When this spins, it sucks air in and forces it out down the bottom. It and forces it out, and then it forces it into an intercooler. And then the intercooler is fed up into the inlet. That's the throttle body there, where the air is forced into the inlet manifold. And the inlet manifold runner, you can see it travels down around here, through there, and into there. And there's the fuel injection system there, feeding into this engine. Oil in and oil out down the bottom, which drains back. That's not attached yet, but it drains back onto the sump down there. You got water in and water out. So all this is cooled. This central system and the turbo, that's to stop the heat getting to this cooler side. It's got oil to keep it lubricated and water to keep it cool. You can see this hard line is a water line. Was that the one I thought it was? Yep, that's water. That side. Going in there. Into that one. Into that banjo fitting. There is cable. And that one's oil, so if we follow this one back, it goes around here. Sorry, the bottom one. Around here, down there. And yes, it goes around here and into there, into the block. And the block, that's a high pressure line from the block. We've also got a pressure sensor here, and that banjo fitting sending a crushable washer. So what you want to do with them is just heat them up with the oxy and dip them in water to quench them, and copper will get soft. Steel, if you heat it up and quench it, it gets hard. Copper, if you heat it up and quench it, it gets soft. I mean, reasonably simple, but you got all these lines everywhere, and you can't see half the turbo piping yet because it's all off the vehicle. There's a lot of turbo piping has to happen. There's an intercooler. There's all that. Basically, there's all the turbo piping. And there's an intercooler there that has to go on the front of the vehicle to cool that air down, because it gets hot from getting compressed. Now let's look at supercharge. Now, to me, supercharging is a lot simpler and neater, but it's got its drawbacks, obviously. A supercharger still compresses the air, Obviously it takes up a lot of space, so you've got height issues trying to get a supercharger onto the bonnet, but there's way less piping. Now, to be fair, there's some piping here that's hidden up in the back, so you need a pipe that gets the pressure or vacuum from the inlet manifold, and that's this one from the back of the manifold down the bottom, and that feeds my brake booster. So I've got vacuum and idle. There's no boost at idle. These are choking the compressor. There'll be actually probably a vacuum at this side as well, where it's sucking, and a vacuum at this side. Then there's also another little pipe here, which you can see goes into there, into the this is fuel injection, sniper injection. That one's boost pressure, so that one's from the same fitting from the manifold there. There's no oil cooler lines, there's no water cooler lines. Yeah, that's it. The only other lines I've got here are catch can, but that's just for the rocker covers, for the breathers, that's all. Yeah, so 2 lines. So it's very simple. You've got the belt system, which the turbo doesn't have because it's on the exhaust. But on this, the exhaust can be free. There's nothing there. It's straight out. Everything happens driven from the belt. So that's the difference. But the main difference being turbos. Turbos are good as far as power. The turbo will give you more high-end power. It's happy places when the engine's running fast, it can generate boost. A happy place for a supercharger, you can get boost at very, very low RPM. Some vehicles have got both. They've got a blower, supercharger and turbos. So what you'll do is you'll run your boost from your supercharger at lower RPM, and then you'll feed the turbos into boosting into the top of the supercharger, and they'll build up pressure and help the supercharger at the high RPM and help push the pressure through the blower. That's usually on hill climb vehicles. Hill climb vehicles, because they're up high, the air's thin, high altitude, the air's thin, so you need to have forced induction, and that's why they've got massive wings, because the air's so thin it doesn't really do much. So they've got massive front splitters, massive rear spoilers, everything's huge, and they've usually got twin turbo and supercharged to try and get some air into the engine to get horsepower at very, very high altitude. So that's the advantage there, but obviously that's very, very expensive to do all that. So you don't see many vehicles that are supercharged and turbocharged, but you will see plenty of hill climbing cars like that. Alright, so that's the difference. There you go, quick overview of turbos and superchargers. Morning at 40 builders. What are we doing today? Repairing a muffler. So we've got a massive hole in the excavator muffler. That's where it comes out of the engine, that's where it comes out of the bonnet. And another muffler is $600. There's a couple of holes in the bottom there, which are under a bracket. So I'll show you how that works. Hey Bruce, you going good, mate? Yeah, you got your new toy. It was blue. Hey? So anyway, these end plates look pretty solid. I've given them a bit of a grind. I'll attack that a bit harder, but I think I'll mate onto there and weld around and up to the excavator. So now, like, I was driving it with the bonnet up, but now the gas struts have let go. So it goes here, it attaches to the exhaust there, but as you can see, all the heat's going out onto my hydraulics, and what happens is all the heat stays in the bonnet and the fan pulls it through to the radiators, and it makes the engine overheat. We've got to get all the exhaust out that hole. So let's make a wrap for the muffler, get another couple of years out of it. Let's go, let's weld it in. Ready, Bruce? Yeah, itchy. Hey, you got fleas? No? You got fleas? Chicken? Do you like chicken? Where's chicken? Good boy. You know, far from good, good from far. Blind man will be pleased to see it. But anyway, it doesn't leak. So now the only leak is the join. So what I've got here, I don't have, basically this thing, I had to cut it off ages ago to get it off. So we're going to make one. So we're just going to use fiberglass wrap, aluminium tape to hold the fiberglass on, cut a piece of this aluminium sheet and screw it on with a couple of hose clamps. Alright, that's good. Let's see, give it a test, eh? Exhaust leaks. Now the header pipe anyway. Just a bit out the top here and a lot out there. It's good pressure now. Excellent. Alright, can get on with it now. We need to get some work done.